Even if you were in my food chain, I would go out of my way to attack you. If I were a lion or a tiger, I would swim out in the middle of the ocean and eat you.
It's gonna be the best fucking tuna you have ever fucking had.
Yardbird Tuna. All right. Yardbird Tuna. I am here doing my thing. So, this is my first trial run with the streaming, so let's see how this goes. I don't know. I've been thinking about doing an episode for a little while now, and I kept wondering what could I possibly talk about. I need to keep podcasting and just keep moving. There's definitely things going on in my life that are great, you know? And I'm always hesitant about whether I should talk about my personal life or try to just stay and do topics and discuss my opinion on bullshit, whatever. But, you know something? I've been doing a lot of research on finance and economics and money and how to make more money. And, you know, even political, you know, because it's all relative. It all ties together. And I just think to myself that, like, so let's just say this right off the bat, okay? Is that everybody that I meet, when I start telling them the way I live, first of all, I'll have to admit, and maybe my employer will get annoyed the fact that I say this out loud to the general public, but I haven't worked a full 40-hour week job since I left the shipyard. I work on an actual job site because it's hard for me to consider sitting down and doing my reports while The Office or Parks and Rec or some stupid show is playing in the background. It's hard for me to call that work. I came from the blue-collar world where if I'm not on a job site, I feel like I'm not working. So maybe I'm selling myself short because I do spend a lot of my time filling out these reports for these inspections that I do. Anyway, moral of the story is on an actual job site, I don't think I've worked even 30 hours a week on an actual job site in a very long time. You know, if I added up all the hours I actually stand on an actual construction site, hasn't been 30 hours in a long time. So, I don't know if that sounds like I'm bragging. It's not. It's just that I've designed my life that I make a good amount of money working physically less, which allows me the time to focus on other projects and ideas that I have. My rental property, sometimes I buy and sell cars. I'll buy them cheap or buy them. Maybe they got a bad motor or some crap going on with them and I'll fix them up or something. Sometimes I don't and I still make money off of it. But moral of the story is I'm reading some books. I read Dave Ramsey's book about how to get out of debt. I'm reading Robert Kiyosaki's books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and like he's got a series of books, and I'm interested because I'm not afraid to say that I'm a capitalist and I want to be a millionaire. When I say that in today's world, everybody looks at me like I'm insane or I'm some kind of like scumbag asshole that's trying to rob the rest of the neighborhood. I don't understand your fucking logic, you know? I came from Eddystone, Pennsylvania, which is a really poor neighborhood, okay? And there's nothing wrong with the people who live in that neighborhood. I think it was good and bad for me. It was a good community. We all looked out for each other and took care of each other. But it is also very poor, and therefore there was a lot of drugs, a lot of crime. There was problems, you know? And I'll be honest, I don't want to necessarily raise my children in that kind of environment, you know? And that doesn't mean that I want to spoil my kids and have them grow up to be a bunch of shitheads with trust funds that don't understand the real world. I think that you need to have a healthy balance of understanding the world and the way working class people live, But there's nothing wrong with being ambitious and trying to have something better, okay? So, I don't know, man. For all those people out there that sit around and wish that they could do something more, or wish they had a better retirement plan, or, just everybody wishes, everybody plays the fucking lottery and prays that it's going to hit someday. But you could be taking that money and putting it on something a little safer, whether it's an investment property or, buy some mutual funds. I mean, fucking Vanguard is dude, just download the app and hand them $2,500 and start feeding it. It'll grow like a fucking tree, man. I mean, these things are so easy, and it's people are afraid to do it. You're more afraid to try to invest in something relatively safe than you are if you actually just, you'll go play the fucking lottery or go to the casino and drop $500 fucking dollars and lose your mind because now you can't pay your electric bill. But you won't take your money and invest it in something that could do you justice and actually produce something long term. Maybe the real problem is we're all looking for an easy fix, What's something that could give me a quick return right now? The impulsive self-gratification, generation. Maybe that's what the issue is here, is everybody thinks that there's a fucking cheat code to get you fame and fortune. And you know what, man? From all these people that are self-made millionaires and billionaires and everything that I've been studying and researching, it looks to me like there is no such thing as as an easy way to great wealth, no matter what. I mean, fucking Jay-Z and all these other guys that, everybody wants to talk about how, oh yeah, well, I was poor, I started out in Marcy Projects, and then but dude, yes, there was a day where at some point somebody handed you several $1 million and said, all right, your record sold millions, here you go. But I think you're forgetting all of the hard fucking labor that went into creating that. So it was a long-term investment that paid off. Long-term investments is what I'm talking about here today. It's just I don't think people realize how fucking vital it is to making your life better. You could take $5,000 right now and go buy some collector car, a rust bucket. I have several of them, and sit it in the corner of your fucking yard with a tarp over it. And I guarantee you in 5 or 10 years from now, it'll at least double in value, and you didn't do a fucking thing to it. Nothing to it, And yet when you tell people to do stuff like this, they're like, meh, I don't want a rusty piece of shit car in my fucking driveway, or... I don't know, man. I guess what I'm saying is people have excuses for everything, I'm just kind of surprised, because the other day I posted on Facebook that I would like to be a millionaire by the time I turn 50. And I was surprised that even my friends that own businesses were negative about me making this statement. Oh, fucking prove it. Everybody doubted me. Everybody was like, you can't achieve that. Well, why the fuck not? If I try hard enough and I put my smarts to the test here and actually keep trying and working towards goals. I own one rental property. I talked to my realtor friend. She says, you got a bunch of equity on this property. Why don't you cash out the equity and buy another smaller house in cash? Now you got 2 properties. And then keep repeating the cycle until you own the whole fucking neighborhood. Well, that don't sound very hard at all. I mean, as soon as she said it, I thought, that's a fucking no-brainer. Of course I'm going to do that, But when I tell other people this, they look at me like I'm fucking nuts, Why am I nuts? I don't understand. How, well, it's hard. It's hard to do that. It's risky. It's scary. Yeah, of course it's fucking hard. It's a job. I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. It's not fucking easy. There's nothing in life is easy. There's no fucking freebies. There's no cheat code. There's no easy way out. Don't fucking preach to me about I can't do it. Well, you can't fucking do it because you already got a negative attitude. I can do it because I believe that I can fucking do it. At the end of the day, that's the real point here is what's your outlook on life? If you're willing to take some risk and if you're willing to think your way through it, don't just be a risky fucking person, Don't be Don't be a gambler, all right? Let's not be a gambler. Let's think our way through this process and see if it's, what are the probabilities of this succeeding? Let's do the math. Let's work our way through this situation and find out if it's a worthwhile investment. When I bought my first rental property, I thought about it for literally a year. It sat on the market for a year before I decided to pull the trigger. And I sat and I added up all the rent. I looked at everything. I looked at the value of the building. I looked at how long I was going to be paying for this building, how much I would pay overall, because nobody wants to really think about that. If I bought my building for $160 over a 30-year span, you're going to pay a lot more than $160. I don't know if you guys are looking at your mortgages, but when you start adding up the actual interest, because it's a big scam, you pay your interest up front, and that's why it's so important when intelligent money people tell you to pay your mortgage off faster. Yeah, you should pay your mortgage off faster. That's absolutely correct. I believe, some tax evaders, I'll call them, and that's a joke, but some people believe that you shouldn't pay your mortgage off fast because you get tax breaks on the interest. Well, this is the way I see it. You're either going to pay the mortgage company a bunch of interest, or you're going to pay the government taxes, one way or another. So you should probably sit down and do the math and find out which one is going to cost you more money in the long run. I'm willing to bet that if I bought a building for $160,000 and it doubles, if I pay twice as much as that over a 30-year span, that's $320,000 or more, how much are the taxes that I'll be paying on that? I don't think it's going to be that much. I don't think it's going to be $320,000. So I'm better off paying this building off faster, as far as I can tell. You still got to pay the government. There's no way around it. The government has their hand in your pocket, and I'm a libertarian, and I fucking hate it. But I have to admit that they don't plan on stopping anytime soon taxing the shit out of me. If anything, it looks like they're going to start hiking up the taxes. So it's inevitable you're going to pay taxes. The real question goes back to, is it worth it to pay more on a mortgage than it is in taxes? That's it. That's the question. Compare one to the other. Do your math. It's simple math. It's just multiplying and dividing, adding and subtracting. There's nothing crazy here. Nobody ever wants to sit around and do the math. So, who the fuck's at my door? Anyway, whatever. So that's, I don't know, man. I want to be one of these people that finds a way to live off the money that I already have. There are clearly people out there doing this. So why is it so strange for me to want to do that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be an hourly employee ever again. Okay. And as for owning a business, so as I see it, you have to be the owner of the business, okay? And in the beginning, you may have to work for yourself. You may have to be a one-man band and go and do your business. But as I believe, you have to eventually evolve and get some employees. And when I talk to small business owners, they start arguing with me, and they're like, well, it's too expensive. You got to pay workman's comp and all this other bullshit. Yeah, I understand that. And like everything in the world, there is an initial investment that's gonna cost you money. But I have to ask, when I look at businesses that have 10 or more employees and the owner doesn't work no more, he's literally at his shore house fucking fishing on a Thursday or Tuesday. Well, how did he do that? He must have pushed through. In the beginning, yes, it was hard. He had 1 or 2 employees, and it sucked because he was paying a fortune, and he wasn't profiting a great amount of money. But again, it always comes back to this idea of a long-term investment, a long-term investment. Plan now so that you don't work so fucking hard in the future, I want to be the guy in the neighborhood that owns several small businesses that I pay good, smart, intelligent people to run for me so that I don't have to fucking work no more. And I don't see that as me being a bad guy for wanting to be like that. You know? Why does that make me a fucking asshole? You know? I don't know. I've had friends that were, you know, crazy hippie people that fucking think that that's the bad way of looking at life. To me, I think you're a fucking sucker if you think that life's going to change because of your fucking crazy beliefs. You need to learn the rules of the game. And the rules of this game are capitalism and how can I make my money work for me? How can I, own something so that I can live a luxury lifestyle or a leisure lifestyle? Maybe I won't be owning a fucking island like Epstein or nothing like that. I mean, perhaps not. But you know what, man? If I could live in this fucking house and raise my children and not have to pay a babysitter to take care of my kids and teach them their ABCs, I would be fucking thrilled with just that. So, I don't know, I'm an ambitious person. And I guess I have like a 5-year to 10-year plan. 5 years, I'm going to say this, I plan to be self-employed. Right now, we're working on my wife. By next year, the goal is my wife is going to be self-employed. And after that, the next big goal is that I would like to be self-employed. And I have to say this, just in case, the owners of the company I currently work for are listening, is that I am not disappointed in any way with my current employers. They are wonderful people, and they have taken great care of me. This is by far the best job I have ever had in my entire life. And this lifestyle that I currently have is largely due to the fact that they took the chance to employ me, and I'm extremely grateful. In fact, I know that I have these goals of being self-employed and being, an entrepreneur, but I mean, really, because I believe in networking and working together so that we can all gain some wealth out of this, is I hope to maintain a great business relationship with the people that own my business. And I'm not saying this to backpedal or kiss their ass or anything like that and try to save my job. I'm saying it because I legitimately believe it, I have friends that are electricians. I have a cousin that's a plumber. I have another cousin that owns a dumpster company, and he's a contractor. My brother does like industrial canvases and boat upholstery and stuff like that. I have family members that do all different kinds of trades and skills. I have friends that are pipeline inspectors. I have another friend that is a OSHA safety certified, I guess he's like a safety officer on a job site. I have another friend that does weld inspections. I have friends that do everything. And I have to be honest, I always think to myself, how can we make this all work together? That's the way I think. Maybe I'm an organizer. Maybe that's what I'm really good at, is I always think, how can we put all this together so we all can make some money? These are all motivated, ambitious people, hardworking, good people, And I don't think selfishly like, how can I fuck them out of their money? That's not the way I think. I think that we all need to work together to build something, build a community, build a network. That's the way I believe it's got to be done. So, I don't know, man. I'm going to keep reading my books because knowledge is power. And I still believe in the American dream, and I believe in capitalism. I believe that the secret to finding my wealth is by reading these books and understanding people that started out with nothing. I am fascinated with Robert Kiyosaki. In his first book, he basically explains that his father was a very well-educated government employee at one point and then became a teacher himself. And his theory on life is go work for somebody and get a good job and make good money. Which is what, in my neighborhood, that is the exact philosophy. You're insane if you want to go and do something different from that. This is what normal people in my neighborhood, Delco, do. They go, they get a good education, and they work for somebody and make a lot of money. But everybody in my fucking neighborhood has the same house, and everybody in my neighborhood has basically the same amount of shit, and nobody is really setting the world on fire. It's not a bad lifestyle. But a great deal of us are overwhelmingly in debt. I mean, some people around here owe almost $1 million freaking dollars when you add up all of the debt that they have, and they're going to spend the better part of the rest of their life paying that off. I don't want to be that. I want to be out of fucking debt. I don't want to owe anybody anything, you know? And if I do get debt, I want to learn how to use the loans or whatever, you know, borrowing money to make money. There's a whole science behind that as well that I would love to learn. And, you know, I don't know, man. I'm ambitious. I am willing to learn. And I think as long as I keep trying, you know, people talk shit, man, and everybody's like, oh, you're going to fail. Well, yeah, you're probably right. But you know what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to stop trying, okay? Yes, I'm going to make fucking mistakes, and I'm going to do stupid things, and I'm going to invest in bad investments. Some of them are going to be good. You know, I have already made great investments. My first rental property was a fucking grand slam. It's a triplex with 4 garages. It's currently completely occupied, and it makes enough money to pay its own mortgage and pay almost a little more than half the mortgage on the house that I currently live in with my wife and kids. So it's basically sustaining itself and affording us to pay almost nothing on our mortgage. It's fucking amazing. I mean, is that not a win? I mean, what the fuck? Occasionally I got to go over there and snake the drain because one of my tenants, you know, doesn't understand that you can't use fucking baby wipes and put them down the toilet. But that sucks. But dude, that's like every 6 months or a year or whatever. Like, if that's the hardest I got to work for this part-time job that it affords me this lifestyle, you're a fucking idiot if you don't take that deal. You know? You think I'm a sucker. I think I'm winning. Everybody's looking at me now, and all of a sudden they're like, well, how the fuck did he afford this nice house? I afforded it because I made these smart business decisions that are helping me along the way, you know? So, I don't know. I'm going to keep doing what I do, you know? I'm just going to keep doing what I do, you know? At the end of the day, you know what the simple equation is? Balance the checkbook. Don't spend more than you have. You know, we don't really use our debt. You know, I have a bunch of credit cards. I have a ridiculous amount of credit available to me at any moment. If shit hit the fan, you know, if this fucking house fell down, I could probably use credit cards to rebuild it. You know, that's how much friggin' credit I have available to me. And I don't feel the need to use it. Some guys do. Some guys will take a credit card and they'll use it for their daily expenses. And at the end of the month, they'll pay it off. And it's a huge bill. And as long as you're willing to deal with that, you know, that's fine. It looks great because you have revolving credit, but I don't like screwing around like that. It's too easy to get tempted. You ring up the credit card, you see the money in the account, you're spending both. Now you're fucked. You know, I don't want to live that lifestyle. I don't want to make that mistake. It's too complicated for me. I'm simple. You know, just pay the bills. You got bills, pay them off. You know, if we got a big expense coming up, I will use a credit card. If we're flying somewhere, sure. Throw the airline tickets on there, you know. And then even then, I'm a psycho. I pay it off quick, you know. I'll do 2 or 3 huge payments on it just to knock it out and get it out of the way. And this is the way I live, man. I don't believe in buying new vehicles. I drive an old shitty 2001 Grand Marquis. Everybody laughs at, it's a grandpa car. It's dings and dents and shit all over it. It's got 200,000 miles on it, and it still runs perfect, you know. Why the fuck do I need a new car? What do I need? Heated seats? I can't just wait for the heat. In the wintertime, I go out there, I warm it up. By the time my coffee's done brewing, make a cup, go back out there, the car's warm again. What the fuck, man? That's a luxury that, you know, I can't justify buying a $60,000 car when my car that I already own, you know, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Mathematically, it's bad math. You know, it's not a good investment in my eyes to have fucking heated seats or a newer car. You know, like, my car does the same thing as your car, you know? I don't get it. It's a bad investment in my eyes. So, anyway, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore with this podcast. I got to get more organized. But I figured I'd just get on here and talk about shit that I've been lately dealing with and thinking about. So, you know, I am the struggling entrepreneur, or you know, I'm just working on my life, and I'm trying to live as comfortable as I am, and I don't judge people for the way they live. If you want to go down the street and go get a job, a union job, or work for Boeing, or work for the airport, or work for wherever, and do what you want to do, and finance a big giant diesel pickup truck, and drive around the neighborhood looking like a bad motherfucker, I'm not mad at you, man. You do whatever you got to do, man. You enjoy your life. But don't judge me either when I'm trying to do something totally different from that. That's all I'm asking, you know? I'm going to keep doing me. I don't give a fuck. You know, you're certainly not going to deter me with your negative fucking attitude and opinion about the way I should live. Everybody thinks they know, you know, the way it should be. Well, I don't know. I think you need to worry about yourself. You know, the biggest problem in this country is everybody's got a fucking opinion, so I don't know. Anyway, this is the Yardbird Tuna Show. If I haven't told you today, I love you, and go fuck yourself. Good fun. See you guys later.